Hello everyone, I'm Shamik Gadge. I'm a webmaster at PCCOE ACM. So we'll be having a fun session today where we'll be teaching about computer programming and some of the Python basics and also some of the Python applications as well. So let's keep this an interactive session where we'll be talking. I'll be asking you questions. You can reply. You can ask me some questions as well. So, so is everyone ready to dive deep into the world of computers? You can
Yes,
reply.
sir.
You
Yes,
can
sir.
have a
Yes,
great.
yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
like the response. Great. So these are topics that we'll be covering today. So we'll be covering about what is computer programming. We'll be having an introduction to Python. We'll be having some activities in Python where you will code along with me, and we'll make a simple program. And we'll also take a look at some of the applications of Python as well. So let's go. Let's start with what is computer programming. So I'll ask you, what do you understand by computer programming? Any definition, like whatever you understand about computer programming, you can tell. You can either unmute yourself or you can put your answer in the chat box as well. Anything works. Okay, I guess Prathamesh Dev Shatwar is wants to answer. You can unmute yourself and answer.
Yes, sir. Basically, what is computer programming? Programming is that we can just say that computer has no brain. We just give it an input and just expect the correct output. So I think computer programming is giving the input to the computer and getting the so like what we expect as the output, getting the same thing as the output. I think is computer programming.
Yeah, that is a pretty close definition. Does anyone else want to try?
Computer programming is the process of designing and building an executable computer program to accomplish a specific computing result or to perform a particular task.
Okay, great. So, like, this was a great explanation, from both of you guys. So, a computer program is basically a sequence of instructions or a set of instructions that we give to a computer through by the medium of a computer programming language. So, and this has to be a very specific task. So, like, you can think of a computer like a child. You have to explain everything to it. You can't just assume that you can just give a computer a task and it will directly know the steps to execute it. Let's say for example, if you want to tell a computer to drink a glass of water, so you can't just tell it to go and drink a glass of water. You have to specify all the set of instructions. So you will say that computer, go pick up a glass, pour some water in it, and then drink the water. So you have to be very specific with this with these tasks with the instructions that you give. This is really important. So does everyone now have a clear idea of what computer programming is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great, great. So we'll move to now to the introduction to Python. So like I had a talk with one of your teachers. They told me that you have Python in your syllabus. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, Yes,
So you have some basic idea of what Python is. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So we'll move towards the introduction to Python. So like we'll clear the basics. Python is a popular and high-level programming language. It is becoming a very popular language. Like everyone wants to learn Python nowadays. So it is also an interpreted language. Now, what does an interpreted language mean? So most of the other programming languages that you might have heard of, which are like C++ or Java, all these languages are compiled. That means the code is compiled together in one file, and that file is executed. Python works like an interpreter, which means all the code is executed line by line. So the interpreter will go and execute the first line. Then it will, if that line runs, it will move on to the second line and so on. So it is also a versatile and easy to read and learn language. So Python, if you are familiar with the syntax of Python, you basically know that it is pretty much close to the normal English language. Like it is the closest thing that comes to English. It has the easiest syntax to learn, and therefore it is very beginner friendly. It is also portable across operating systems. So do you guys know what operating systems are?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What are operating systems? Can you give a few examples?
Windows, Linux, Mac
Windows,
OS.
Linux, Mac,
Mac.
Zorin
Great.
OS.
Yes, great, great, great. All these are great examples. So it means basically that Python is free to run on any of these OSs. It can run on Linux, it can run on Windows, and it can also run on Mac OS. So this was about the introduction to Python. So we'll move on to the next slide. So you might ask like why you should learn Python. So Python was it was ranked fourth in the top most popular programming languages in 2021. Python also provides great several job opportunities and promising high growth in new salary prospects. So like you can see like some of the companies provided here. These might be the applications that you use in your everyday life. We have
Yes,
Cisco, we have YouTube that you probably might use every day. We have Microsoft, which makes use of Python as well. We have Spotify. We have Quora, which many of the students you might use. We have Mozilla Firefox, and we also have Google. So all these companies make use of Python, which makes it a great language to learn, and you have a huge scope for it. Okay, so we'll go on with some quiz. So what is the file extension for Python programs?
py.
Py.
Dot py.
Great.
Py.
Exactly.
Dot
.py is the extension. Uh, okay, next question. Which are some of the built-in data types in Python?
So string,
Float.
string,
Float.
integer,
Float. Integer. Int.
Okay, great. These are some of the built-in data types. We have string, integer, float, bool, and also list. And there are many more such like. And you can also make your own custom data types as well. If you don't know, you can make your custom data types as well in Python.
Classes.
Okay. So do you know what is the keyword for declaring a function in Python?
Def.
Yes, that is right. Def is the keyword. You give the def keyword and then you provide the function name along with a colon, and then later you can define your function. So you guys know pretty much all the basics of Python. So what we'll do now is we'll move on to an activity. I want to ask a common question to all, like, do you guys have Python installed in your local machine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, sir. I use
Sure.
online one.
Okay. So
Also
for right
use
now, like,
online.
for this. Okay, good. Not a problem. Like right now, what we'll do is we'll have a code along session where we'll be learning to develop a small calculator program. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
what we'll do, I'll share my screen again. Okay, so this is a Python interpreter on online compiler. I'll share the link in the chat box as well, so you can all can follow along with this. Okay, so is everyone ready to begin?
Yes, yes,
Yes. Yes.
So we'll start with some basics, right? Like how do you print a statement in Python? So can anyone tell me?
Print.
so print, and then
Print the statement. Apostrophes.
So,
Apostrophes and the yeah.
okay. So we'll run with this basic command. It just prints hello world. Okay. Can anyone tell me how do you declare a variable in Python?
so we have to name
A
it
is equal to the value.
Variable name
A is equal to the
and
value.
the
B will be the variable.
Variable and give the
Let's
value.
I'll
You
just
can
give my
also
name.
assign numbers.
and bracket input.
So what
We
will
can
happen
also
if I do this? What will happen if I run this
we'll
command?
print Shamak.
Your name will
be
That is right.
Only Shamak.
That's right. Do you guys also know how we take input from a Python
Yes.
shell?
Yes.
How do we do
Note
that?
underscore input
Data
in.
type, if you want the data type,
Variable
then
is
you
equal
put
to
Towards input,
input.
what you
variable,
have
and
into the
after
statement.
Input bracket and
A
the
number.
what we need.
Enter anything. Enter your name.
So like I'll have to
you
enter
can
my
also
name.
change the data
Print
type.
A.
I'll just go with printing this.
What is your name?
So I'll enter my name here, and it will print my name. Okay. So now let's move on to building a basic calculator. What we'll do is we'll be providing two numbers and we'll be providing an operator. So, okay, let's start with that. So let's have a as a first variable, where we'll take it as a input. We'll tell the user to enter first number. Okay.
Sir, I think we have to change the data type to
Yes,
integer.
right. That's what I was going for. Like we can change this to int, or we can also have it as float. So it will help with the division. Does everyone know what floating point numbers are, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
After
So
point numbers.
Decimal numbers.
yes,
Decimal.
exactly.
Decimals.
So now we'll have the operator. We can have the we'll prompt the user to enter the operator. And we'll have the second number as well, which will be pretty similar to this. We'll just change this a to another variable, and we'll tell the user to enter the second number. So moving on to this, can anyone tell me what will be the next step?
We will ask
Sir,
what
if-else loop.
What type
division,
of
what operation you want to
operation you
perform.
want to do?
Okay, we first have to understand what kind of operation the user wants to perform, right? So
Yes.
for that, we'll use a if else condition. So do all of you know what an if condition is?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if
Statement.
elif else.
It is a statement.
That's right. So if it will check whatever is written here after. If this condition is true, then it will execute the remaining code. Okay. So sorry. So right now what we'll be doing is we'll be checking if the operation, what the operation is. So if the user wants to perform an addition operation, so let's say the user has given an addition operation.
A plus B.
So yeah. So what we'll do is we'll print here a plus b. Okay. So and let's say what if the user has inputted a minus sign. So what will we do?
Now we have to elif.
Elif.
That is correct. We'll go with elif and we'll go with this. Okay, so now we'll print. What will print?
Print A minus B.
A minus.
Right. Great.
Minus
What will be the next one?
multiplication.
Elif.
Multiplication. A multiplied by B.
Okay, and now we'll print a into b.
And at the last, there will be the else one.
Elif. A
Okay,
divided
so
by B.
now what
While.
should we do? Like which should
It
which
will
should
be
put
while.
Elif.
elif or else?
Elif.
Else.
Elif. Elif.
So
For
who
the
all are
last
saying
one, we can use it as that no such
Else.
Invalid
no
input
no
can
such
be there for
operator. Yeah,
else.
invalid input.
okay.
Invalid.
For the last
Yeah,
else.
right.
Yeah, we will use elif now. Elif.
Elif.
Cool. So we'll use elif. We'll check if it is a division operation, and then we'll print the division. A divided by p. Okay. And for the next condition,
Now
we can
else.
have like if the user
Else.
inputs any other invalid operation.
Invalid operation.
So we'll check. We'll say that invalid input. Okay. Is this cool?
Yes.
So we'll run this. We'll go with the first number. Like let's input whatever. Let's take 5, and we'll add it with let's say 6. We can have 11.0. Can anyone tell me why we have 11.0 and not just 11?
Because
We are not
Because you have
defined
to data type as
float or in.
Exactly.
data type
If we
as float.
if we had this as integer, it will be just 11. So like if we clear this and run this again, we can take a division operation. Let's say we're dividing 5 times. Just a second. It's back on. Just a second. I'll share my screen again. Okay. Okay, so we'll input the. Okay, we'll enter the first number. I guess there is some problem with this interpreter.
So do we have to put another one like C is equal to enter your favored operation or no?
We are already entering this operation here, right? The operator here. We have this op variable for taking the operator as an input.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions with this program?
No,
No.
sir.
Okay. So we'll move on with the next. Do you guys know what turtle is? No, I'm not talking about the animal. It is a library in Python.
Yes,
Is
sir.
used for drawing
Yeah.
or
Yes,
games,
exactly.
graphics.
Yes, basically graphics, right? So what we'll do is we'll move on with a demonstration of the turtle library. Okay. So I'll just present my screen. Okay, so is my screen visible in both the meetings?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So we'll move on with this program. So I have a code written for a turtle function for a turtle function. So let's try and execute this and let's see what we get. So we'll go with this command. Okay. So here we have a basic turtle function which just draws a Iron Man helmet, are all our favorite Avengers. So like
Yes.
this is one of the basic the basic programs that you can execute in Turtle. You can draw any such graphics. They are pretty interesting ones which you can explore and learn about. This is a great library to learn, especially for beginners in Python. It improves the logic a lot. So this is one of the programs. Let's carry on with the PPT. So okay, so you're right. We're done with the activity now. Now we'll move on to the applications of Python. So before we go on, can you tell me some of the applications of Python, in which domains Python is used?
In AI.
Yes, in AI, that is correct. Anything else?
Machine learning.
Yes, machine learning as well. Does anyone else want to answer as well?
Data visualization.
Yes, right. Data visualization also. So we'll take a look. Like these are the wide array of applications of Python. It is used in game development as well. For many basic interactive games, 3D games can be built in Python. It is also used in web development as well. It makes the task of web development very easy. It is used in data science as well. Like one of the students answer for data visualization and all. Python is used there as well. It is used in artificial intelligence and also machine learning as well. Python has many libraries for machine learning and artificial intelligence purposes, like the TensorFlow library or the scikit-learn library. There are many such libraries like this which make the task of machine learning and artificial very easy in Python. So now, have you guys ever used Python?
Shamik, 1 second. I think Manjusha has raised her hand.
Okay. Manjusha, do you have any question?
No, sir, no.
Okay, no problem. So I want to ask you guys: have you ever seen an application of AI in Python?
I have made one.
Okay, who was this? Can you
Jayesh.
tell the name? Jayesh. Okay, what did you make, Jayesh?
Basically, there is one communication application Discord where you can make bots. So I have made one.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Okay. So you used AI in that as well. Okay.
Yes,
Right. That's
Python.
great, Jayesh. So now we'll take a look at an application of Python, which I have. So what we'll do is try to run it. So this is a basic like hand gesture recognition application. So let's run it and let's see what we have. Okay, I'll probably have to switch off my camera in the meeting for this. I'll switch it back on once the program is done. Okay. So we have my camera here. All you guys can see me, right? In this camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a basic hand gesture recognition tool. So what we'll do is, if I just put my hand up, it will recognize what signs I'm making. So we can make a peace sign. So it is recognizing it as a peace sign. We can do a thumbs up. We have a thumbs down. We can also do the rock sign. Okay. There's also call me, and it also recognizes a fist as well. Yep. Okay. So this is one of the application in Python which is very interesting, wherein you can recognize many things. You have also various such applications like for recognition of mask detectors as well, whether a user is wearing mask in the public or not. So this is one of the applications. Okay. So now that we are done with, I guess we're done with this. Okay. So we had a look at the demo. Now let's move on to the second part of the program, that is web development. I request Apurva to take over. Let's
Yes.
first of all, like, does anyone have any questions with Python?
No, sir.
No.
No.
None, sir.
Okay, great. Great.
No.
Okay. Let's move with web development then.
Okay. Is my screen visible in the first meet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so is it visible in the second meet?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
just give me a second.
Yes. Yes.
So guys, I am Apurva, and till now you guys learned about Python, and I'm sure that you got a basic idea about it. So let's now get into web development. So my question is, do you know what a website is? Have you seen one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This
Okay,
Google Meet
so I'll
site is.
be, yes. Did someone say anything?
No.
Okay. So let's take an example of a site. You all must have seen this site number of times, this Amazon site.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
So creating this site and managing it is what comes in the domain of web development. So there are two aspects of web development. The first is front end and the second one is back end. So in front end, the design that you see on this website, these cards and these navbar or all these images, all these come in front end. Front end means basically designing of the website. And as for the backend part, like if I just take anything, like if I add one of the components into, like, let's just say I choose something
Excuse me, ma'am.
and add this to the card. Yes.
Ma'am, I can hear your voice echo a little.
Okay. Just is this fine now?
No, ma'am,
No,
we can
it's
see.
echoing still now.
Okay, just give me a second.
If Shamik
Is
sir
it
will
okay?
mute, if Shamik sir will mute, then it will not echo. Yes, now it will.
Yes, ma'am, now it's not echoing.
It's okay now? Okay. So
Yes.
let's get to our site. So if I just add any of it to my cart, like you can see some UI changes here, like added to cart or this interactivity that subtotal. If I add another one, there will be a change in my cart. Added another one to cart, and my total is changing here. So
it's part of the backend. Like whenever we change something on site, there the site becomes interactive. Like if we add something to the cart, the amount changes or the values change on site. So this all part comes into the backend. The images and all this is just the part of UI, what you see in on the site. But whenever you change something or you want some results out of it, like there is some logic on the site. If we add the 399 and then 275 items, there will be a sum of it here, right? So this is the logic, and all this logic comes into the backend part. So in this session, we'll be showing you how to design a website from scratch. We'll be giving you a hands-on coding session. So let's get to the PPT. So yeah, this is the front end versus back end. Basically, in front end, we see the look, the design, and in backend there is the actual logic and the data. Like on every site, if you are on YouTube, you have a account on YouTube, right? If you are a content creator or anything, if you create a video, it is under your name, like like if you are a user, the data is stored under your name. So the website is basically storing your data according to a different user. So data management also come in the domain of backend, in front end and backend. So while creating a website, these are the three important languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. How many of you know HTML?
I.
I do.
Uh,
Me too.
Most
can
of us. Most
can
of
some of
us.
Yeah.
list some tags? Can you tell me some tags that you know in HTML?
Anchor,
HTML tag, anchor tag,
anchor
HTML tag,
HTML, body
anchor
Head
tag,
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 Head,
line,
package
head,
tag,
body tag,
title,
line break,
img,
title,
underline
table. Oh, that's a great response. I
div,
guess
oh,
most of you know about HTML.
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
So
yes,
do you
ma'am.
ma'am.
have any idea about CSS, the styling
Yes,
part
ma'am.
of the page?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
yes,
yes, ma'am.
cascading style.
Yes.
Ma'am, all the
Cascading
colors and
standards.
shadows and the position of
colors
the
and shadows of the
text
text. We
and
can modify the
the
You
text
know,
bar.
very better in the
all
Graphics.
website.
modifying, yeah,
Advanced design of
variables.
HTML
All
page.
modifying is done in CSS.
That's great to know. And anyone of you ever worked with JavaScript?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
I am,
Not
No,
till now.
ma'am, I
I
know
tried.
advanced JavaScript from Whitehead Junior.
Yeah, I too,
I
from
had
Whitehead
tried
Junior.
Eternal
Oh, you
once.
all use Whitehead Junior?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
No,
Not
No
no,
me.
means
I
I
am
No,
a
just
ma'am.
filled the
I
call
had
certified
and
few
then
of
they were
had
just
like
for
couple of sessions.
just to
Ma'am,
try
and
the
I am,
JavaScript.
ma'am, and I am certified as a certified web developer and certified game developer also.
Oh, who is this? Can you tell me your name?
I'm Prathamesh Doshitwar.
That's great, Prathamesh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so let's get to our. So basically, just if some of you don't know what HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is, I'll just give you a little overview about it. So HTML is basically the structure of website. Just now you've seen in the Amazon site, there are some blocks and some heading, and so the website is basically at first a structure, like the nav bar. Nav bar is a structure, part of the structure. Then the main page, then the footer. So this is the part of the web page, and it all comes in HTML. But when you have to give some styling, like some colors to web page, or changing its font color, font size, these all comes in styling. And JavaScript comes in the backend part, like when just now you've seen the change in our cart numbers. There is the some addition of our cart products. All this interactivity comes with JavaScript. And in this session, just as I mentioned, we are going to get a hands-on coding. We'll be designing a website, a portfolio from scratch, and for that you will need these things: a laptop, a good browser, and a text editor. If you are joining from laptop, so you can code along. So first, tell me, which editor do you use for HTML?
Visual Studio Code.
Oh, that's
VS,
great.
VS Code.
Notepad.
Yeah, Notepad is the
Notepad.
Notepad.
okay.
Notepad.
VS.
Yes, VS.
So I'm considering that most of you know how to use Visual Studio Code and a Notepad too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so in this session, firstly, I'll just give you a brief overview about HTML tags, and then we'll get to the coding part. So, according to you all guys, I think you all know what these tags mean,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
still,
Yeah.
Opening and closing tag.
yes. And whatever we write in this opening and closing tags, all of this
Will
is
display on the browser.
yeah, great. Like all of you know, okay, that's good. So I think we just have to start with the coding part.
Yes, ma'am.
Palak, can you
Yes.
take over?
Apurva, can you stop sharing your screen?
Yes.
Okay, is my screen visible in both the meets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So today we'll be teaching you how to build this website. First of all, how many of you here have already built websites with HTML, CSS?
I have built.
I
Okay.
have.
Okay,
Me too.
and okay, so I guess you are all pretty much aware of how to build one. Have you guys hosted a website before?
Yeah. I have tried.
Yeah.
You have
Yes, ma'am,
tried.
I've tried.
Okay, and what have you used for hosting?
Uptime robot,
Okay.
Heroku,
Okay, you've used Heroku. Good. What's your name?
Jayesh.
Okay, okay. Anyone else? Okay, so does anyone of you here know what is GitHub?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, I know.
Yeah.
And have you used it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay,
I
so
used to use it.
I'll be
Ma'am, I
telling
have
you.
nearby basic 37 projects of JavaScript on GitHub.
Okay, very good. That's great to know. Good. So we'll be coding this. You can code along with me this website, and then I'll be telling you how you can host it using GitHub. Okay. If any one of you does not have a text editor, you can use an online editor. We'll put the link in the chat box. So today I'll be using VS Code or as a text editor. Do you know what is the name of the basic HTML file that is created at the very start?
Index.html.
Index.html. Yeah.
Great. And what do we name the CSS file?
Style.
Style.css.
Style.css.
Great. That's great. So I've created two files. The first one is index.html. The second is style. Index
And
will contain all our basic HTML code, and style.css will contain our styling. First, we'll be writing the boilerplate code. Do you know what's a boilerplate code?
I think the meta.
Okay. Anyone else?
No.
Okay. Boilerplate code is basically this code that I've written. So instead of writing this again and again, VS Code gives us an option where you can just write HTML. It will give you this option of HTML5. And if you click on it, you will get all this code automatically. Okay. So this is a boilerplate code. So I guess you all know what a meta tag is. Can someone just tell what's the use of meta tag? If anyone knows.
no.
Okay. So a meta tag contains the basic information about the page. So for example, I'll just run this. So you can see here at the very top, you can see it's written document, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here in the title, if I change it to website and save it, you will see now website is written over here. So this comes under the meta tag. Meta tag will contain information that is not displayed on the main part of the screen. This white portion that you can see is the main part of the screen, and these tabs are not a part of it. So whatever has to be displayed is put in the body tag, and whatever is put in the head is the content that is not displayed. So meta tag will contain information basically for the browser on how it has to display. Like you can see char set UTF-8, it is basically an encoding technique. So it will tell the browser on how to encode the data that we are giving, because the browser will not understand normal language, right? So to convert it, we are telling that these are the things that the browser needs, or these are the things that the browser has to do. Okay. Next is the body tag. Can you tell what's the use of body tag?
Body means there is the main page
It
where
displays
we
everything
can
which is
see
needed
Main
everything
in
in
content
the
of
text
the page.
while using the HTML or any editors online.
Whatever we put in the body tag, that will be displayed on the screen. So, okay, if I want this first heading, which tag should I use?
H6. Sorry, H1.
H1.
H1, I
H1.
think.
Great.
H1 and center tag.
Yeah, great.
H1 center.
And if I want to center it without the center tag, how can I do it using CSS?
Extra line is equal to
extra line equals. No, not equal to colon.
colon, yeah, colon.
Text align is equal to center. Okay. First, let's try to do this. Is anyone following along with this coding? Because if it's going fast, then you can let me know. And if you have any doubts or any queries, you can unmute yourself and type. Okay. So I've added the first H1 tag here. So you can see it has been displayed over here. Okay. Can someone tell me how do you link a style sheet? Now we have the HTML file. How will I link the style sheet with it?
Link tag. Link.
Okay. Can you tell the syntax?
Just put link and tab.
Link. Enter. And then rel. Rel is equal to style sheet.
Okay. And after that?
href. href.
And then we'll put the name of the style sheet. So we'll have style.css. Now this way we have linked the style sheet. So this is when we are using external CSS. Yeah?
The GT study is asking, ma'am, how to get that HTML code.
The boilerplate?
I guess. Yes.
Okay. What text editor are you using?
Ma'am, Visual Code.
Visual Studio Code, then you will get it automatically. You just have to, I'll show you again, just type HTML.
And if we write exclamation mark and tab, then it comes.
You can, there are a number of methods that you can use. So this is the simplest one. You can type HTML and the second option, HTML:5.
Okay,
if
ma'am.
you use that, you will get the boilerplate.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we'll center the H1 tag in our style.css. Okay, can someone tell that if we want some style to apply to the entire document, what do we do?
Means something like background color.
Yeah.
Then we write
After head
background
will use
and
style.
mention the color.
Style
No. I mean
is equal to text.
Okay.
Ma'am, in CSS or HTML
CSS.
file?
Background.
Style is equal
Hyphen
to text
color.
upon CSS.
Okay, I think you did not get my question. See, if I apply a color to H1, what will happen? Only the H1 will get the color, right?
Only the H1 will get that color.
Yes, ma'am.
So suppose I put H1 over here. You can see only H1 got the background color. So if I want to apply this background color to the entire page, then what do I have to use over here instead of H1?
The
Body
star
background.
symbol.
Yeah.
Star symbol.
You can use star or you can use body. Okay. Let's apply a background color. Next part, how do I change the font?
Means font size.
Font style. Font style.
Font
Yeah, the
style.
font
Font
family.
style.
Okay. And
Font family.
Font family.
yeah, so I can change the font family from here and I can add whatever font I want. Okay, now this is a font that is not present by default. So how can I import this font?
You have first of all go to the website, Google's website. Then afterwards you have to take the link. Then afterwards, that link you have to paste in CSS, the styler CSS. It is in Google font.
Yeah.
You have
So
to go to that website.
yeah, so we can use Google Fonts for that. So the syntax will be, first we'll use import URL, and here in the URL section we can add the URL of the Google Font. So I'll show you how to do it. So you go to Google Fonts. Here suppose I want this font family Roboto with the regular and the black thing. So here you will get the href for this one. So you can copy that over here. So you can see now the font family has changed. Okay. Okay. If I have to change the font color, what is the property name?
Font color colon and just choose the color.
Green.
Okay. And for centering? How do you
Text
center?
align. Text align.
Text align
Text align
center.
center.
Okay, great. You guys are very smart. Okay, and next I want the font size to be a little bigger. So I
Font
will,
size, you
yeah,
can
Font size 52.
Okay, this is how it's done. So next thing that I want to add is I want these two sections over here. One will be on the left side and one will be on the right side. So can anyone tell how do we do
we
this
will
part?
set margin and we will align them.
Okay. Someone said div, that is also correct. We'll use a div, in that we'll put all these elements. What is a div used for?
Specifying a function.
No, it is not a function.
It's like a division.
Yeah.
The division.
Basically, yeah, if you want to add sections, suppose I want to group these three things together. So I will use a div tag whenever I want to group some things together. Okay.
Grouping elements of an HTML file that.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone know about Flexbox? Okay.
No.
Okay, so I'll explain that as well. So next thing over here is, first we'll add a div tag. Okay, what is a class? Why do we use a class? Here. Have you guys worked with classes before?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what
No,
is it
ma'am.
used for? Okay, for those who have not, I'll explain what it is. What is it used for? If anyone knows.
If there are, suppose there are 5 elements and for 3, I have to assign the same value. Suppose their font size. I want to keep the same font size, so we can assign it to a class. Like we'll name it font size and then we can give
So class is basically when you have to apply the same styles to different elements. For example, if this about me heading and this my hobbies heading, they both have the same color, they have the same font size. So what I will do, I will assign a class. That is, I will give them a name. So I will only have to write the style one time and I can use it multiple times just by addressing the class. Okay. So it will basically be like identifying some things. Like you have your divisions, division A, B, C, class 9th A, 9th B, 9th C. So what it will do, it will identify a group of students as one class. So all those students will have the same timetable, right? So similarly here, when you use class, a group of elements will be identified by this class. Let's call, and you can give any class name. Okay, it is up to you. It can be anything. Inside this class, first thing that I want is a heading, and the next thing, how will you add this text over here that I've added? Which tag do you use?
Paragraph.
Yeah, we'll use a paragraph tag. Paragraph tag, how it is written?
I'm opening tab and closing tab of P, and inside that the text.
Yeah. We'll have our H2 over here. Do you know about lorem ipsum? Why is
Yes,
it
ma'am.
used?
It is the
Dummy
default
text.
text for any
It is a
kind
random
of
text.
Dummy text.
Yeah.
Not random, dummy.
Dummy.
Dummy text. When the website is not ready or you do not have any content to write, you can use this text for sample. Okay. So now I have done this. Now if you look at the website, you can see this is here, but it is not properly divided in two sections, right? Okay. So if I want to group these two elements together, what will I use? Which tag?
Give.
Let's give this div a class so that we can identify it. Let's call it about me container. Last thing, I want to add an image. How do we add an image?
IMG, SRC,
source
and the link.
link.
We'll have an image tab.
You can just do IMG and then tab.
Yeah. Since this is a demo, I want you guys to be comfortable, so I'm typing it down. Okay. So in SRC, we can provide a link to an online image, or we can use an image from our local machine. Okay. So
You have to give path if you are using from
yeah.
that file.
So I'll be using an online image over here. So I've put the link over here. So you can see the images here. Now, if I want this image to be in a circle, how can I do that?
Image style.
It has a round something. It comes near class, in class.
Okay. Let's do one thing first. We'll give this image a class. And then how do you, if you have to assign styling to a class, how do you do it?
I'm class and then full colon.
Dot.
And
We use a dot. So heading is like, and it's a tag, inbuilt tag. So you directly write H1. But this is something that we have created on our own. We have added a class. So for that, we will add a dot at the starting. So if I want the image to be round, I have to give it a border radius.
Radius.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if not, then we move on. Okay. So once I've given it a border radius, you can see it's circular.
You have to give it 100 if you want it perfectly circular.
Yeah, we can give it 100 and or we can change the height and width of the image. So what I'm going to do is I want the image to be a little smaller. So I'll give it a width of 100 px and a yeah.
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay. And next thing you can see the image is stretched. It is not correct. So what do we use for that?
We have to reset the width and set the border radius to 100.
No, if you set the border radius to 100, then the image will not be circular.
It would be.
For that, you have to restore the width and height first. Then You
Okay,
can
okay.
set.
Suppose I have done this. Now, if I want it to be not stretched, then what property can I use?
I think width we will increase a little bit.
Okay, let's try that and see if that works. Suppose I make it 400. But now the circle is not correct, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So for
What you
that,
can
we
do
have,
is
Restore the dimensions and set the border radius to 100%.
I'm not quite sure of what you are saying. I did not get it. But we have a property for this, which is called object fit. Okay. So you have different properties, and in that you have contain, cover, fill. So you can make it cover. So if you make it cover, you can see now the image will fit in the circle. Got it?
Yes.
Now, if I want the, okay, now I'll tell you what a Flexbox is. Basically, you guys told that we can add a margin auto to this to make two
Yes.
different sections. So instead of that, I'm going to show you a different approach, which is a little advanced. So that is called a Flexbox. Basically, a Flexbox makes it easier to make different sections in the same page. So now you can see my div element is called container. And how many childs does it have? Childs are basically how many elements does it have? Yeah. Yeah, you can use this entire code in Notepad as well. The only difference will be in VS Code. Suppose I type over here, so you can see the closing tag will appear on its own. If you are using Notepad, then you will have to type that manually. Okay. So VS Code will have some autocomplete features, and Notepad you will not get those. So now we have a container. In that you can see we have one div element, one image element. So when we use a Flexbox, what will happen? It will divide the page into two parts. In one part there will be this div, and in the second part there will be an image. Okay. So we will be applying Flexbox to the outer container, this outer container. The property is called display flex. You can also look it up online later for your reference. So you can go to CSS tricks and you can see everything about Flexbox over there. We'll give the link in the description box. So you can read about Flexbox over there. Now you can see I've just written one line, display flex, and you can see it has already been aligned. Okay. Okay, next part. Okay, now I'm going to go quicker because I think you already know how to style this headings and stuff. We have our H2. Does anyone have any questions till now?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, now if I want some gap between this
I
left
think we will use indentation.
indentation, can you tell what is indentation? Indentation is a part of Python.
Yeah, it is a way.
If I want to add some gap, what I will do?
Left border.
No, margin.
Margin.
Yeah. Okay. So we can use margin or we can use padding. There are two things. One is margin, one is padding. So we can use either one. So here we'll be using padding.
Padding is much more simpler.
Yeah. Padding is simpler. So here we'll be using padding. Let's make it. And if I want this to be smaller, since you can see that it has extended a lot, if I want this text to be in a smaller box, what can I do? You know?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So basically that part of our code is in this div tag about me container. this about me and this paragraph. So I can reduce the width of this part of this about me container. So I'll write a dot because it is a class about me container, and I'll make the width as maybe 60%. So now you can see that it has reduced. Now display flex has one more property. Now you can see that these two things have cluttered in the start. So if I want to spread them out, I will use justify content. Space around. Okay, so now you can see that it has been centered and correctly done in just 2 lines of code. These are the 2 lines that we have used. Any doubts? Okay.
No.
Okay, so the last part is, first we'll need this heading, then we'll need these 5 boxes. So we already know how to add a heading and the div. So what we'll do, first thing, we'll create a div tag. We'll give it a class, container2, and that we'll add a heading. Yes, we will not be sharing it in the chat box. We'll give it to your teachers and the teachers can circulate it to you because the code will be too big for the chat box, okay? But we'll be sharing the code with you. The next thing, I want these 5 images. So what I'll do, I'll use a div tag to put all these 5 images together. We'll have a div tag. We'll give it a class. And then we'll add 5 images. So you already know how to add images, so I will not be showing that again. I'll just take all the image tags from here. So now the images are randomly placed and we have to style the images, okay? So how will we style them? We'll again use Flexbox for that. As you can see, Flexbox made it very easy to make it like this. So here we'll be using the same concept. So where should I apply Flexbox? Which container? This
container 2.
Okay. Which elements does container 2 have? It has h2 and it has div tag, right? Image tags. Can you see image tags now in container 2?
No. So directly hobbies.
Yeah. So see, if you expand this, if you are not understanding, so you can use these toggles from here. Once you close it, you will know which tags container has. It has h2 and div. So now I will apply it to hobbies. What was the property? Who remembers?
Display full colon flex.
Yeah, display flex. Now you can see they are in one line, but what we have to do is we have to
adjust width and height.
Size. So what is the class of the image tags? What class have I added?
Hobby.
Yeah, it is hobby. And you can see all the image have the same class. Why?
So that we can style
apply
them all
some
together.
style to every single image.
Yeah. If I apply the styling to just one hobby, it will apply to all the images. So that's why I've used the class. So now if I write here with 200px, right, 200px. And what was the property which I told you over here?
Justify.
No. यहाँ पे देखो क्या है? Object fit cover.
Object fit cover.
Now, if you add that property, all the images will be.
I think we have to make them little larger.
The images?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can adjust them accordingly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add space in between them. So it is hobbies display flex. Then I'll add space. Justify content.
Space.
Okay, or you can do space between. And now you can see that it's very, very spread out. So what we'll do, this container, hobbies container will reduce the width. जैसे हमने about me के लिए किया था. We'll use the same thing over here. We'll reduce the width so that it will not be so spread out. So which container should I apply that to? Look over here.
I think
Which
My
is the
hobbies.
outermost container for this?
container 2.
Yeah. So we'll apply the styles to this container so that my hobbies and these images, all of them will get the styles. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, see what space around will do is it will put space around all the images. Space matlab left side or right side, that will also have some space between them. Okay, you can see the space over here is a little more. If I do space between, what it will do is it will add space only between the images. Left or right side में नहीं होगा. It will be very less. Only the default जो space रहता है वो होगा. You can see if I do space between, you can see there is no space at the left and right corners, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, container 2, we'll just reduce the width. How can I take this hobbies to the left side?
Text line we can remove.
Okay, if I remove this. Okay. And if I want to add some space below the images, niche it's sticking to the bottom. What can I do?
Bottom margin.
No, not image center. We'll have to add a padding or a border bottom. So you can see now it will have some space. Okay. So any doubts here? This you can align. You just have to add a padding over here to my hobbies. I'll show after that. Okay, so now it's aligned correctly. Any doubts in this website?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll be sending the code to you. I'll just tell you how you can host a website using GitHub. First, you will have to create a GitHub account. For everyone who don't have a GitHub account, you can go to repositories. You can create a new repository over here. Name the repository. And click on create repository. Okay. This is not a necessary part, hosting, so you can skip it. Okay, if you are not
I
understanding.
think for this website we have to add a readme.
README is not compulsory. README is an optional
Yeah.
file. Okay.
Okay.
To describe what is the code or the
If there is some optional statements, then you can use readme.
And we can do this from git bash also, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use any terminal that you like. Currently, I'm using the VS Code inbuilt terminal, and here you can see that I'm using git bash. Okay, built-in git bash. If you want, what is online available? Yeah, you can install VS Code. Yeah, VS Code supports all languages like Python, JavaScript, and all. So you can just download it from here. If you just search on Google VS Code download, you will get the first link over here. You can download for Windows, Mac, whatever you have. Okay. Yeah, you can download it for Windows 7, 8, 10, 11. You can check the website for more information. I'll put the link in the description. Team, can someone just put the link of this in the description box? Okay. So So here you can check when you create a new repository, you will get the commands over here: git init, git add, readme, git commit. Okay, so you can just copy the commands from here. If you do not remember the commands, we'll do git init, then we'll do git add. Git add will be used to add all the files.
What you can do is you can just export by hands manually. It would be
You
Yes.
can export or you can push an existing repository, but it is always beneficial to use this. Okay, like in future it will
And
be
but
very
with Git
useful.
Bash, it takes so much time. Directly, we can upload the
You can do
files.
that as well. If you go over here, you will get an option to upload files. Or you can just directly upload it by create a readme file, then you can upload it. Okay, so I'm going to skip these commands. I'm not explaining the commands. I'll show you how to do the using the GUI also. Does anyone have any doubts till now? Apart, okay, this GitHub part is not in the scope. I'm just telling it to you. Other than this, does anyone have any questions?
No, ma'am.
no.
Fine. So here, after you are done with all the commands, it's taking some time, so we're going to skip it. You can go to GitHub Pages over here. Here you have to select, I don't have a branch right now. Here you will get the main branch. After you click it, it will display it. So I'll show you the one that I've done. Okay, manually code if you want to upload, you can do add file over here and click on upload files. Okay, so here you get an option to upload files and then you can select the files that you want. Settings, pages, here you will get a site name and then you can publish it over there. Okay, the website will be shown here. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, if not, then
No.
we will be concluding the sessions. If you have any doubts from the first part, that is Python, then you can ask them. Or if you have any doubts regarding web development, you can ask.
Okay, ma'am.
Nothing? Okay then. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. You guys are really smart and we had a great interactive session. It was really fun conducting it with you. Thank you, ma'am, for letting us conduct the session. Teacher. Okay, guys, we have put a link in the description box. It's the feedback form, so please fill the feedback form if you've enjoyed the session and you can mention whatever it is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you everyone for making the session
Thank
so
you.
interactive.
Thank you, everyone.
And it was
Thank you.
very
Bye, ma'am.
nice. And we also had a
Yes,
lot
ma'am.
of
We
fun.
also enjoyed a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great to hear.
Can it be possible for you guys to turn on your cameras just so we can have a screenshot?
Yeah, we can have a picture together. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
Palak, can you stop screen sharing in second meet?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, I've stopped sharing this.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you everyone for joining in. Hope it was fun for you guys as well.
Yes, sir.
We really enjoyed teaching you all.
Yes.
You guys are really smart kids. One day you'll grow up to be great developers also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
This was a great session, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye,
Bye,
guys.
ma'am.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, sir.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Apurva, stop recording.
Is the ma'am still in the session?